republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting has been noticed in compliance with the South Carolina Freedom of Information Act. This commission acts in review and recommending capacity for designations and removal of historic properties and districts. The commission also reviews proposed National Register of Historic Places nominations. The commission has final decision-making authority on certificates of historic appropriateness. My name is English Hurto. I'm the chair. To my right, Commissioner Anna Johnson, Commissioner Amy Gerard, Commissioner Melanie Millar. To my left, Vice Chair Donna Gardner, Commissioner Michael German, Commissioner Pat Jones, and Commissioner Brett Halverson. Also seated to my right, Assistant County Attorney Andrew Heathington. Also seated to my left, Andrea White, Interim Director of Zoning and Planning.
Okay. All right, and we have staff here today as well. We've got Nikki Grimble, who is the Interim Deputy Director. We've got Emily Piggott and Monica Eustace, who will both be presenting cases today. Stephanie Ando, and Kyle Foster and Spencer Antos with our Code Enforcement Division.
Thank you. I would like to remind you that in order to get a good recording of the meeting for the minutes, please speak loudly and clearly into your microphones. The next agenda item is the approval of the minutes from the November 19, 2025 meeting. Is there a motion and a second?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Chair Hurto,
Aye.
Commissioner Halverson,
Aye.
Commissioner German,
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson, Vice Chair Gardner,
Abstain. I wasn't here.
Commissioner Gerard, Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Millar.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Thank you. The next agenda item is HIST 112500162, a request for a certificate of historic appropriateness. Emily, would you please discuss?
Okay, thank you very much. So this request is for the replacement of two accessory structures at 1235 Long Point Road. Can you all hear me?
Okay.
Good question. Hold up, please. The TVs aren't working.
It's all right.
Got back up, so I'm just curious.
Thank you for pointing that out. Awesome. All right. So no problem. This request is for the replacement of two accessory structures at 1235 Long Point Road, also known as Boone Hall Plantations and Gardens, which is a property listed on the National Register of Historic Places. The applicant explains they will be installing two new metal storage buildings, one that is 1,200 square feet and will be for golf cart storage, and another open air structure that will be 3,000 square feet and used for tractor storage. The tractor storage accessory structure will be placed where a greenhouse of almost the exact same dimensions previously existed. The applicant is also requesting approval of the retroactive demolition of that greenhouse, and the golf cart storage will replace two existing sheds that have lean-tos. The Boone Hall property has obtained 5 CHAs for prior on-site projects, including the new open-air market structure and the rehabilitation of the gin house. Here is the location of the subject property when we're looking at the county overall. And as previously mentioned, several CHAs have been issued for this property, as well as one within the 300-foot buffer for 2 office buildings and related site improvements across Highway 17 North. Boone Hall Plantation was listed in the National Register of Historic Places in 1983 with a boundary increase in 1994. The plantation developed over the course of the 18th, 19th, and 20th centuries and contains 9 surviving slave houses dating between 1790 and 1810. So here is the National Register listing boundary map. Only the proposed golf cart storage is located within the National Register listing area. The subject property is zoned resource management and contains a working farm and historic site. The future land use designation for this property is also resource management. Most of the surrounding properties are within the town of Mount Pleasant, zone plan development, R1 and R4, and contain single-family dwelling units. One property within the town is zoned RM and contains townhomes. One surrounding property is zoned community commercial and is undeveloped, and several properties across Highway 17 North are zoned Old Georgetown Loop office area within the Mount Pleasant Overlay Zoning District and contain a mix of residential and commercial uses. The subject property is in the X, shaded X, AE8, AE9, and AE10 flood zones. And here is an aerial map of the subject property. And these are site photos showing each of the proposed building locations. So on the left-hand side, the proposed golf cart storage shed would replace those existing buildings. And on the right-hand side, that is the location where the previous greenhouse sat, and the proposed tractor storage open air building is being sited. So here you can see the site plans overlaid with the aerial map for context. So again, only that golf cart storage shed is within the National Register listing area. Here is the site plan for that golf cart storage shed, along with the elevations. And a closer look at the site plan for the tractor storage open air structure, which you can see the elevations of here. So the two proposed storage buildings are intended to support the historic use of the property, which is agricultural. Therefore, the proposed site improvements are compatible in terms of historic and cultural character of Boone Hall Plantation and Gardens. Additionally, the proposed structures will be replaced are not identified contributing resources. The greenhouse seeking retroactive demolition approval was also not a contributing resource. Only one of the proposed accessory structures, the golf cart storage shed, is located within the historic area of the property. And the applicant has described that the colors chosen for the buildings will be Charleston green with white trim, which is compatible with the existing architecture, both historic and non-historic, on the property. So as previously mentioned, only one of those proposed accessory structures is within that boundaries of the National Register listing. The location is about 360 feet from the Alley of Oaks and about 430 feet from the Gin House, both of which are noted as contributing resources in the National Register listing. Due to the existing vegetation and structures, the proposed golf cart storage shed would not be visible from either of these resources. The proposed tractor storage shed will be located about 1,300 feet outside of the boundaries of the National Register listing. This accessory structure will not be visible from any identified contributing resources. Both proposed structures will be sited in locations where buildings were previously or where there are existing structures proposed to be demolished, resulting in a minimal amount of disturbance to the historic landscape. No negative impacts on the historic property have been identified. And staff recommends approval with the following condition: that all major changes shall be processed pursuant to Section 21-5M of our Historic Preservation Ordinance. And we did not receive any public input for this case. Thank you.
Thanks, Emily, for your comprehensive report. Are there any questions for staff from commission members? Okay, we will now hear public comment. Each speaker will be limited to 2 minutes. Please state your name and address before giving your comments.
We only have one speaker, Abigail Watson. Not speaking. Okay.
Okay.
No one else.
Okay. So the case is now closed to public comment. Before discussion, is there a motion and a second from the commission? When making a motion, please cite how each of the specific approval criteria have or have not been met.
I'll move to approve with the stated condition from staff. I believe the proposed improvements are compatible with the existing historic and cultural character of the property and surrounding areas. As staff noted, they're intended to support the historic and cultural nature of the property that's already there at Boone Hall. And as far as the second criteria, I don't think it decreases any of the surrounding contributing resources because none of those resources are, the sheds are not visible from any of the resources. Therefore, I think criteria 2 has been met, and I think criteria 3, therefore, does not apply. So I would move to approve for those grounds.
Second.
Is there any discussion from the commission members? Okay. If there is no further discussion, it's time for the vote.
On the motion to approve with the staff condition, Chair Hurteau,
Aye.
Commissioner Dukes,
Abstain.
Commissioner Halverson,
Aye.
Commissioner German,
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson,
Aye.
Vice Chair Gardner,
Aye.
Commissioner Gerard, Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Millar.
Aye.
The motion passes with 8 ayes and 1 abstention.
Thank you. I'd also like to note for the record that Commissioner Joseph Dukes is here. Thank you. This is the final decision of the Historic Preservation Commission. If any person with a substantial interest in a decision of the Historic Preservation Commission chooses to appeal this decision, they may do so to the Circuit Court of Charleston County. Such appeal shall be filed within 30 calendar days after today's date. The next agenda item is HIST 1122000161, a request for a certificate of historic appropriateness. Emily?
All right, thank you very much. So this request is for the construction of a new single-family dwelling unit at TMS 614-0000767, 3862 Abe White Road, which is a property within the 10 Mile Community Historic District. So these 2 slides show all of the CHA applications we've received to date within 10 Mile. The applicant has described their intention to build a 2-story, 2,115 square foot single-family dwelling unit. The home will feature a covered front porch, a screened-in porch in the rear, and a chimney on the left facade. The applicant is planning on incorporating a metal roof along the front porch. The home will be built on an elevated slab at a final floor elevation of 13 feet to meet the AE11 flood requirements, and impervious surface coverage will be 27% of the lot. So the commission did review an application for a single-family detached dwelling unit on the subject property in June of 2024. The application was denied by the commission at that time, and the property has since changed ownership, and the new owner has designed new house plans, which are in front of you today. A variance request for the relief from the left side setback was approved by the Board of Zoning Appeals last month. Here is the location of the subject property when we're looking at the county as a whole. And here is the location of the subject property, and you can see that it's surrounded entirely by properties within the 10 Mile Community Historic District. And here you can see the property in relation to the historic district as a whole. So we did receive one CHA application for a single-family dwelling. It was approved with conditions by the commission on the neighboring property. And so here you can see that site plan and approved front elevation. At that time, the commission required the installation of 2 street trees between the house and the right-of-way. That was the condition of approval. The subject property is zoned Special Management S3 at the time that this presentation was put together and under which this application is being reviewed. However, the 10 Mile Overlay District has since been adopted. The future land use designation for this property, again, at the time was Urban Suburban Cultural Community Protection. All surrounding properties at that time were zoned S3. Parcels to the north, east, and west are undeveloped, and the parcel to the south contains a single-family dwelling unit. The subject property is within the AE11 flood zone, as noted previously. So here is the aerial view of that subject property. And here's a site photo. And these are properties, neighboring properties on Abe White Road. And here is the proposed site plan where you can see the new home. And here is that same site plan overlaid on top of the aerial map. Here's the proposed front elevation, the rear elevation, the right elevation, and the left elevation. So the designation by County Council of the 10 Mile Community Historic District did not specifically mention architectural character. However, the proposed site improvements are compatible with the outlined historic and cultural elements of significance within the 10 Mile Community Historic District. And it does meet the zoning district requirements of S3 under which it was submitted, and has obtained a variance from the Board of Zoning Appeals to encroach into that side setback. So no contributing resources have been designated within the 10 Mile Community Historic District. Therefore, this application should be evaluated using Section 21-5H3, Commission Consideration of the Historic Preservation Ordinance. The subject property will be using Abe White Road for access, which is a dirt road with a largely intact tree canopy. The subject property is 0.25 acres and was cleared of all trees prior to current ownership obtaining the parcel. Clear-cut lots are not compatible with the existing historic streetscape of Abe White Road. 10 lots currently access from Abe White Road, ranging from 1/4 of an acre to over 16 acres, with half of the lots being half an acre or less in size. Only 4 lots that access off of Abe White are developed, and they're developed with a mix of mobile homes and single-family dwellings, currently ranging in size from 978 square feet to just under 1,500 square feet. However, that 2,100 square foot, 2.5-story single-family dwelling was recently approved by the HPC for that neighboring lot. Again, with that condition that 2 street trees be installed prior to CO issuance. The style of the proposed home is different than those already existing within the 10 Mile community. It includes architectural elements not commonly seen in this area, such as a chimney and a decidedly symmetrical front facade, which is also atypical for the area. Additionally, the proposed home is sited much closer to the right-of-way than historic developments within this area of 10 Mile. When combined with the existing clear-cut site conditions, the proposed design does have the potential to detract from the historic Abe White Road streetscape. Potential impacts of the proposed home on the historic streetscape could be further mitigated through the planting of a street tree between the proposed dwelling and the Abe White Road right-of-way. And based on the applicant's responses, staff believes that the applicable approval criteria may not have been satisfied. Therefore, staff recommends deferral of the request. However, if the commission votes today to approve the request, staff is recommending the following conditions. 1, removal of the chimney from the left facade of the proposed home design. 2, the applicant shall install 1 tree of 1.5 inches caliper or greater in size between the dwelling and the Abe White Road right-of-way prior to issuance of CO. And 3, all major changes shall be processed pursuant to the regulations set forth in our Historic Preservation Ordinance. We received 1 general comment just noting that the 10 Mile Community Overlay Zoning District was adopted last week, but no comments in support or opposition. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily, for your comprehensive report. Are there any questions for staff from the commission members? Oh, yes, Donna.
Thank you, Emily, for your presentation. Just a question with regard to the deferral. What do you think that time will allow maybe the applicant to do? Maybe meet some of the suggestions that were recommended for today if we proceeded, or
Yes, we would be looking at changes to the design so it's more compatible with what's existing in the area.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
I have a question. Based on that deferral, would they be able to get into the January business? Are we talking about February, March?
It would be February at the earliest at this point.
Okay. And they are grandfathered into the S3, correct? Because of even though the overlay
Yeah,
changed
we
it.
don't use that term, of course, but since the application was, put in under that zoning, then yes, that is the application.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the regulations
stays-
that we view it under.
okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And the applicant was aware of the ongoing overlay district timeline as well.
Thank you.
No other questions? Okay, we will now hear public comment. Each speaker will be limited to 2 minutes. Please state your name and address before giving your comments.
Luke Harper.
Good afternoon, Council. Thank you all for allowing me to come speak in front of you today. My name's Luke Harper. I'm the owner of the property in question today. A little bit of backstory about myself. My wife and I are both born and raised in the Low Country of South Carolina. She's from Charleston. I'm from Beaufort. We both graduated from South Carolina. And we purchased this property in February of this year with the intent to build a first home for us to move into. Love the area, love the characteristics of the community. Like Emily said, we received a zoning variance and went through that process over the past 3 months to situate the home on the property the way that we believe is best fit and reasonable. During that process, we met and have had the opportunity to build a relationship with members of the 10 Mile community. We attended a monthly meeting that they have at their community center on Seafood Road. We met with them at the property to review our plans and have received a lot of positive feedback and, are looking forward to being able to be a part of the community. So like Emily said, we're seeking for approval for the plans that we have submitted. And do you all have any questions for me at the moment?
First of all, commend you for speaking with the community, the members. We've all recommended that many times, and I think that when there is conversation, there's a lot more that can be done as a team. So I commend you and your fiance wife for that. First question I have is it's the proximity to A. White Road, because in the other properties, it's a bigger setback, as far as, from the main road. Is there a reason why you chose to be so close? Can you go, could you go back? I know there's a deferral for a tree to be put there, so there's some kind of buffer.
Yeah, absolutely. So the property has a drainage easement that's located at the back of the lot that's takes up a pretty substantial amount of property. We thought that, utilizing the front setback to the maximum capacity would be the most reasonable use for the property, to still allow for us to have a backyard that is, substantial in size.
Okay. And my final question, is that your driveway right there on the right that has kind of the...
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Will there be a garage in the future? I mean, is it...
We don't have any plans for a garage at the moment.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you.
Okay. And one other general comment I would like to add in regards to the treescape. The parcel that's adjacent to these 3 lots was recently clear cut in the past 3 to 4 weeks. So we are happy and we are planning on adding trees to our property. But I would just like to note that streetscape has changed since I believe that this application was submitted. So.
Yeah, we are aware of a code violation on that property and are handling it, yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you all for the time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. The case is now closed to public comment. Before discussion, is there a motion and a second from the commission? When making a motion, please cite how each of the specific approval criteria have or have not been met.
I make a motion for a deferral. Again, I'm basing that on the recommendations that were made by staff. And if we're going through the criteria, the actual improvements that are being asked by staff, I think is that what we're talking about as far as the ones are compatible with the historic, cultural, and character of this area. And so I think those should be, looked at and discussed. The chimney and the tree, which you said you already are planning on. So I guess the chimney would be a big issue, possibly. And secondary, the site improvements will not take away from the integrity. I think those are things that the zoning think they would be more positive for this community. And that being said, the deferral will reduce the negative impacts. So I think that we can look at this at a later date, hopefully, and be able to approve it for this couple. Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
On the motion to defer, Chair Hurteau? Aye. Commissioner Dukes? Aye. Commissioner Halverson,
Aye.
Commissioner German,
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson, Vice Chair Gardner,
Aye.
Commissioner Gerard, Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Millar.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Thank you. This is the final decision of the Historic Preservation Commission. If any person with a substantial interest in a decision of the Historic Preservation Commission chooses to appeal this decision, they may do so to the Circuit Court of Charleston County. Such appeal shall be filed within 30 calendar days after today's date. The next agenda item is HIST 112500158, a request for a certificate of historic appropriateness. Monica?
Good afternoon. This certificate of historic appropriateness request is to allow the installation of a well pump house for an existing aquifer storage and recovery well, an ASR well, and associated equipment pads and utilities at TMS 615-00-00001, 4184 North Highway 17, a property within the 10 Mile Community Historic District. Since the designation of the 10 Mile Community as a Charleston County Historic District, 40 applications for certificates of historic appropriateness have been received to date. The 10 Mile Community was recognized in the 2016 Charleston County Cultural Resources Survey update as a remnant freedmen community having significant social, organization, and settlement patterns. Recent applications include the designation of the 10 Mile Community as a historic district in June of 2022, a special exception for a major utility service, and a variance for fence encroachment into the right-of-way buffer for a major utility service, approved January 9th, 2023. Also, site plan review approval was received on June 8, 2023, for installation of an ASR well and detention pond. This project to install a well pump house and associated equipment pads and utilities received conditional approval from site plan review on November 26, 2025. Here's the location of the subject property when looking at the county as a whole. This map shows the property's location within the 10 Mile Community Historic District. And this is the subject property's location off North Highway 17 in the 10 Mile Community Historic District. There are no Historic Preservation Commission approved CHAs within 500 feet of the subject parcel. The applicant is proposing to construct a 960 square foot well pump house to correspond with the existing Mount Pleasant Waterworks aquifer storage and recovery well. There will also be 300 square feet of new equipment pads and expansion of the gravel driveway. The total impervious surface coverage for the lot with these additions will be 5.94%. Within the current distribution system, an ASR well stores water for use during times of high demand. ASR wells are usually used on seasonal basis when demand for water rises. Water from the distribution system is injected into the well during times of low demand and stored in the aquifer until the system requires it. The subject property is zoned rural residential and is the site of an existing aquifer storage and recovery well, detention pond, and a sweetgrass basket stand. The future land use designation is rural residential. Surrounding properties to the north are also zoned RR or are in the town of Mount Pleasant and contain either the Allendale District Fire Department Station Number 1 or are undeveloped. The property to the east is zoned PD-080 Seaweed Preserve and contains either single-family dwelling units or is undeveloped. The property to the south is also zoned RR and contains the Greater Zion AME Church. The properties to the west are zoned RR or are in the town of Mount Pleasant and contain either single-family dwelling units or are undeveloped. The subject property is in the X flood zone. Here's an aerial view of the subject property. These are photos of the subject property off North Highway 17. These are photos of the surrounding properties. The Allendale McClellanville Fire Station at 4286 North Highway 17 and the Greater Zion AME Church at 4174 North Highway 17. This is the proposed site plan showing the placement of the well pump house, associated equipment pads, and expanded gravel drive. Here's the aerial map with the proposed site plan overlaid for context. These are the proposed front and right side elevations of the well pump house and the proposed rear and left side elevations of the well pump house. Here is an example of what the well pump house building would look like along with the proposed finishes. It would be a colored CMU block building with a granite colored standing seam metal roof. Staff response to the first criteria is that major utility services are allowed as a special exception use in rural residential. The special exception was granted January 9th, 2023. The proposed site improvements are compatible with the historic, cultural, and/or architectural character of the 10 Mile Community Historic District, as they will not be seen from the neighboring properties, from the road right-of-way, or from the driveway, due to a 75-foot vegetated buffer along North Highway 17 and a 50-foot rear vegetated buffer. There's also more than 270 feet of wooded area between the pump house and the southern property line. The proposed well pump house will be constructed of CMU block and have a standing seam metal roof. The project will be utilitarian in use, similar to the neighboring Allendale McClellanville Fire Station to the north, which is also on property within the 10 Mile Community Historic District. The site additions will not impact the operations of the existing sweetgrass basket stand on the site. For these reasons, the proposed site improvements show compatibility with the 10 Mile Community Historic District. Staff response to the second criteria is that Section 21-5H3 Commission consideration should be used to evaluate this application, but because the 10 Mile Community Historic District does not have any recognized contributing resources. The plan appears to have no impact on any of the community's notable features that were part of the County Council classification. The proposed site improvements will have little to no effect on the current streetscape. The neighboring Greater Zion AME Church and Cemetery are not identified as contributing resources, but could be considered eligible in the future due to the age and history of the site, which dates back to the 10 Mile Community's founding. The present church building is sited at the same location as the original Zion AME Church, which was erected in 1881, and as it lies about 700 feet away from the well pump house through dense vegetation, will not be visible from the proposed site improvements. The addition of the well pump house and associated equipment pads and utilities will not affect church operations. Staff response to the third criteria is that no negative impacts to the 10 Mile Community Historic District have been identified. Therefore, this criterion has been met. Based on the applicant's responses, we believe that the application meets the approval criteria. Therefore, staff recommends approval with the following condition: that all major changes shall be processed pursuant to Section 21-5M, modifications to approve certificates of historic appropriateness of the Historic Preservation Ordinance. No public input in support or opposition to the proposed change was received, and this meeting was noticed as required.
Thank you, Monica, for your comprehensive report. Are there any questions for staff from the commission members? Okay, we will now hear public comment. Each speaker will be limited to 2 minutes. Please state your name and address before giving your comments.
Okay. The first one is Tammy Huggins.
Did you want name and address?
Yes, please.
Okay. My name is Tammy Huggins. I'm with Ardura Group, and our address is 4000 Paper Place Drive in North Charleston. I am here representing the owner, Mount Pleasant Waterworks. I'm the engineer for the project, and Monica did a great job of summarizing the proposed plans for the project. And really, I'm here and available to you if you have any questions that you want to ask about the site or the progress on the project.
You have any questions?
Got a question.
Okay.
I'm just looking at your building, and I'm curious on the structure as far as the LED lights. Again, trying to be conducive for the area that's designated. Is that something that's going to be on, like at night when there's, the sun goes down, boom, they're on?
No, they're not there to light up the whole site. They're
Okay.
just there in case you have to access the site at night. They'll illuminate the doorways. It's not.
Okay,
an
so it's not a-
overall- mm-mm.
Okay, I just thought maybe it's security type
No,
lighting, because
no.
LED to me just automatically just signals.
It makes you think that it's going to be super bright.
Correct.
It's not. It's just for them during access periods. It's not set to light up the neighborhood.
Okay, that's my question. Another question was just the choice for the roof color. Trying to blend. It seems it could be a little bit more.
We're open to suggestions.
Okay, well that is a suggestion. I don't know if staff would follow me on that, but I'm a Gamecock, and I'm all about that color scheme. But I'm thinking that possibly it could be a little more subdued.
Sure.
To camouflage possibly. Other than that, it looks great, and I appreciate your time.
Any other questions?
None.
Okay.
That's it.
I think that's it. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, okay, we have one more speaker.
Daniel Darby.
Thank you.
My name is Daniel Darby. I'm with Mount Pleasant Waterworks, 1619 Rifle Range Road, Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. I ditto Tammy's comments, just here to answer any questions. I'm the project manager on the project. Tammy did a great job with our design. The building and roof are typical if you go around into any of our plants. That scheme, but certainly willing to hear opinions on changing that to hide it, if you will, for different colors. So,
At an expense that would be out of the norm? I mean, is it a different paint color? Is that kind of how that works, or is this an actual roof color that comes pre?
Oh, that's a good question. I think we have options to choose that, so we could change that if that's what you're asking.
Okay.
It has not gone out for bid yet, so that is a changeable item.
But this is a color that you use historically through different.
Through the rest of our plants,
Okay,
it is.
I understand. Thank you.
And I just wasn't clear. What is the existing color on the plans?
I'm going to have to ask Tammy. I'm colorblind, so.
Sandstone color.
It was. That was,
Sandstone would be.
the example was to show like how the construction would be, I think. And the color of the roof was gray.
That's just an example. Yeah. Yeah. Looks like it's a silver color standing seam roof.
So it's just going to be a black color.
Okay. Okay.
Big difference from the sample color.
Well, Tammy and I went to Clemson, so you don't want orange? Okay.
That's their standard color.
Understood.
Okay.
Understood.
Ms. Johnson, do you have a
Okay,
question?
Thank you. I understand that you're using the LED light as a kind of light that you turn off and on, not something that's going to be automatic. So I just wanted to state my concerns to you that if the commission decides to change that kind of lighting to probably saying it's going to be something that's automatically done or it's pretty bright, I think you should consider the community around it, because I have experience where people complain about bright lights like that in their neighborhood.
I see.
So, you might want to just take that into consideration.
Certainly, no, I
in
think that's a
reference
good
to light.
idea. And I think what Tammy was saying was the LED lights that are lit up all the time are for the walkways that are pointed down. The brighter lights that you're referring to is when our trucks come in the middle of the night. Let's just say we had a leak that we would have to repair. Those automatically come on via movement on when you open the gates. So
Okay.
is that
But it doesn't stay on.
correct?
Correct.
By
Yeah,
movement.
That's
and then,
my concern because,
Yes.
let's say later on, you might decide that, for security purposes, that we
Certainly.
need to put something, like the big floodlights on the
Certainly,
streets.
and water is a security that we need to protect, but
Yeah.
understood that we are in a community that's more rural, that we need to not.
Just keep that in consideration.
Certainly. Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
Are there any others? Okay, so this case is now closed to public comment. Before discussion, is there a motion and a second from the commission? When making a motion, please cite how each of the specific approval criteria have or have not been met.
I'll move to approve with the staff's stated condition about future changes. I believe that the proposed site improvements are obviously necessary for the utility service and obviously are much like the Bell Hall petition we had before, are needed to keep the integrity and use and function of the municipality alive and well. I assume they're doing this for a reason because they have to and not because it's something that's optional. And that's, I think, probably why it's part of the zoning special exception. So I believe that it meets criteria 1 for the unique circumstance of being specifically accepted in the zoning code, and it's there because it needs to be for the criteria 2, 21-5H3. I believe that criteria is also met. It does not decrease any of the there's no current contributing resources is what my understanding is, and it's not visible from anywhere. So, there's a lot of, sounds like buffers, so that shouldn't be a concern, as well as the lighting shouldn't be a concern because it's only going to come on, it sounds like, when people are going to be there using it. So therefore, I believe that the criteria under 2 for commission consideration has been met, and because of that, I don't believe that there are any negative impacts for criteria 3.
Second.
Is there any discussion from commission members?
I just want to add, I rode out in that area and I spoke to some of the people in that area. This pump station is located on the northern end of the 10-mile community, just slightly north of the old Zion AME Church. There's a large buffer and wooded area in between the old church and the proposed site. And to my knowledge, there's only one home on that side, and that home is vacant. So I'm in agreement with the approval.
Mr. German, thank you for giving us that little bit of information, too, because that makes a difference in my vote on whether or not there's neighboring homes that would be affected, regardless of what time of the day they would be coming with those, with the lighting could be done in the middle of the night. So thank you for that.
Okay, so if there's no further discussion, it's time for a vote.
On the motion to approve with staff's condition, Chair Hurteau?
Aye.
Commissioner Dukes? Aye. Commissioner Halverson?
Aye.
Commissioner German?
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson?
Aye.
Vice Chair Gardner?
Aye.
Commissioner Gerard? Aye. Commissioner Jones?
Aye.
Commissioner Millar?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Thank you. The next agenda item is HIST 1125000159, a request for a certificate of historic appropriateness. Monica? Am I wrong?
Yes, this certificate of historic appropriateness request is for the construction of a single-family dwelling unit with attached garage and outdoor kitchen at TMS 583-00-00-370, 1578 Joe Rouse Road, a property within the Phillips Community Historic District. Since the designation of the Phillips community as a Charleston County Historic District, 27 applications for certificates of historic appropriateness have been received to date. The Phillips community was recognized as a locally designated historic district by Charleston County in 2021. The district is about 420 acres in size. Dr. John Rutledge, the first physician in Christ Church Parish, and his sons, Edward Rutledge, a signer of the Declaration of Independence, and John Rutledge, a signer of the U.S. Constitution, are significant historical personalities associated with the Phillips community. The original residences are found on the majority of the district's lands, and if they have been divided at all, it is only to be given to the original landholders' heirs. The descendants of the original landowners still own the bulk of the property. Here's the location of the subject property when looking at the county as a whole. This map shows the property's location within the Phillips Community Historic District. And this is the subject property's location off Joe Rouse Road in the Phillips Community Historic District. There have been several certificates of historic appropriateness approved by the Historic Preservation Commission within 500 feet of the subject parcel. These include the Phillips Community Drainage Improvement Project, HIST 07-23-00091, approved August 16, 2023, and 1594 Joe Rouse Road, HIST 09-25-00154, approved on November 19, 2025, for a single-family dwelling unit with attached garage. This map shows the nearby contributing resource properties outlined in blue. The closest contributing resource to the subject property is 1569 Joe Rouse Road. This is a photo of 1569 Joe Rouse Road, a 3-by-3 bay bungalow built in 1960, more than 275 feet away from the subject parcel. The applicant is proposing to construct a 2-story craftsman-inspired single-family home with attached garage at 2,656 square feet, along with a 192 square foot outdoor kitchen on the lot at 1578 Joe Rouse Road. The total impervious surface coverage for the lot would be 32%. The subject property is zoned Special Management S3 and is currently vacant. The future land use designation is Urban Suburban Cultural Community Protection. All surrounding properties are also zoned S3 and contain single-family dwelling units, manufactured housing units, or are undeveloped. The subject parcel is in the AE8 flood zone. Here is an aerial view of the subject property. This is a photo of the subject property off Joe Rouse Road. These are photos of the neighboring properties at 1584 and 1570 Joe Rouse Road. Here's the proposed site plan showing the placement of the house on the lot and the location of the outdoor kitchen in the left rear corner. This is the aerial map with the proposed site plan overlaid for context. Here are the proposed front elevation, rear elevation, left elevation, and right elevation. These are the proposed front and rear elevations for the outdoor kitchen, and the outdoor kitchen proposed left and right elevations. Staff response to the first criteria is that the residences in the Phillips community built over the last 2 decades are consistent with the proposed design in terms of design, scale, and mass. The residence that is planned to be constructed on this lot has been designed to integrate with the existing makeup of houses in the Phillips Community Historic District. The 2-story craftsman-inspired home has a front porch and a rear screen porch and is consistent with the surrounding vernacular of mobile homes and single-family dwellings. Homes in this area of Phillips range from 867 square feet to 3,935 square feet. At 2,656 square feet total, the proposed home is consistent with existing development. The addition of the 192 square foot outdoor kitchen is congruent with the community's history of placing importance on outdoor living spaces. Therefore, the site improvements are compatible. Staff response to the second criteria is that there are no identified contributing resources on the subject property, and the nearest one is more than 275 feet away. The line of sight between the contributing resource and the subject property is interrupted by other residentially developed properties. Consequently, no plots holding contributing resources will have their historic integrity diminished by the proposed single-family dwelling unit with attached garage and outdoor kitchen. Staff response to the third criteria is that no negative impacts to the Phillips Community Historic District have been identified. Therefore, this criterion has been met. Based on the applicant's responses, we believe the application meets the approval criteria. Therefore, staff recommends approval with the following condition: that all major changes shall be processed pursuant to Section 21-5M modifications to approved certificates of historic appropriateness of the Historic Preservation Ordinance. No public input in support or opposition to the proposed change was received. This meeting was noticed as required. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. We will now hear public comment. Each speaker will be limited to 2 minutes. Please state your name and address before giving any comments.
Joe Hardman.
Joe Hardman, 1578 Joe Rouse Road. I'm the applicant. Was a nice presentation from Emily. We started design this house after one pre-meeting that I had with Emily and Monica back to July. So we tried to do the design of our house. It will be my personal house with my wife, meeting all the standards and criteria for the area without any negative impact on the community. So that being said, we kindly ask for the approval for this certificate, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the applicant?
Well, I got a question not for the applicant, but I'm trying to understand the setbacks on the outdoor kitchen. Is that within the requirements of Charleston County? I couldn't follow the lines of the setbacks.
Yes. Just 1 second.
While she's pulling that up, accessory structures can be 5 feet from rear and side property lines.
Okay, she don't need to look it up. That answered
So
the question.
it does,
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we have one more speaker.
Callie Robertson.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. I am his wife, hoping to live in the home there soon after approval, but I just wanted to say that we spent some time in the area to make sure it does look like the neighboring homes, and we've gotten to meet a few of our neighbors and are excited to join the community and be a part of it. So please let us know if you have any questions.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so there are no other speakers, so the case is now closed to public comment. Before discussion, is there a motion and a second from the commission? When making a motion, please cite how each of the specific approval criteria have or have not been met.
I'll move to approve with the staff's stated condition for modifications. I believe the criteria are met based on the ordinance 21-5, paragraph I. The applicant specifically underwent to make the design of the home compatible with the existing district. and that is reflected in the staff's report regarding the proposed architectural design. So I believe that the site improvements are compatible. As for criteria 2 under the ordinance, it seems that there is a line of sight to the contributing resource, but it's interrupted by other improvements or parcels, so there is no impact on criteria 2. Therefore, I believe there is no negative impact, as staff noted in criteria 3, and therefore believe all the elements of the ordinance have been met.
Second.
Okay, so is there any discussion from the commission members? Okay, it's time for the vote.
On the motion to approve with staff condition, Chair Hurteau?
Aye.
Commissioner Dukes?
Aye.
Commissioner Halverson?
Aye.
Commissioner German? Aye. Commissioner Johnson? Aye. Vice Chair Gardner? Aye. Commissioner Gerard?
Aye.
Commissioner Jones?
Aye.
Commissioner Millar?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Decision of the Historic Preservation Commission. If any person with a substantial interest in a decision of the Historic Preservation Commission chooses to appeal this decision, they may do so to the Circuit Court of Charleston County. Such appeal shall be filed within 30 calendar days after today's date. The next agenda item is the recognition of outgoing member Mr. Brent Halverson. Brent has served on this commission for the entire 2025 year. We are grateful for his willingness to share the thought process behind his decision-making and to step up to make motions when the floor was silent. We thank him for his service and dedication to the citizens of Charleston County and hope he continues to be a champion for preservation.
Thank you.
I think we're going to miss you.
Thank you. Very nice.
Great job.
Thanks.
Thank you. We'll miss you.
Speech. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I do want to say it was a privilege and an honor to be on the commission, and you guys at staff are fantastic. I mean, the job you guys do and the work you put in to make our jobs easier is phenomenal. I've represented, worked for numerous municipalities, and you guys are by far the best. So really cool to be with you guys, and so.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so as a reminder, the conceptual plan workshop will begin immediately following the conclusion of today's Historic Preservation Commission meeting. If there is no further business, this meeting of the Charleston County Historic Preservation Commission stands adjourned. The commission will hold its next regularly scheduled meeting on January 21, 2025 in council chambers. Thank you. Okay, so now we are, I'm welcoming you to the December 17th Charleston County Historic Preservation Commission workshop. This workshop has been noticed in compliance with the South Carolina Freedom of Information Act. The first item on the agenda is a conceptual plan workshop. The applicant is proposing construction of a 23,000 square foot early learning addition to James Island Elementary School at TMS 334-07-00047. 1872 South Grimble Road. The proposed improvements include the new building, new playgrounds, new parking, drop-off and pickup areas, improved traffic circulation, a new entrance to the bus area, a new right turn lane to the existing entrance drive at the Carla Street intersection, and associated improvement to utilities and stormwater management. This property is within 300 feet of the West Gresham Megget Middle School and High School, a property listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Mr. Christopher Cook will be presenting.
Good afternoon. I'm Chris Cook with ADC Engineering, and with me is Laura Slagle with McMillan Patterson Smith. We're going to be giving you a brief overview of the project that we're wanting to get your feedback on today. And then obviously we want to answer any questions that you might have or see what sort of input you can provide for us. So these are just some copies of what we're presenting up on the screen that might be a little bit helpful. We also have copies of what was part of the submittal, which we can pass those out as well if that would be of any use. But we didn't want to overwhelm you with too much paperwork at one time. So we are representing, again, I'm with ADC Engineering. We're the civil engineers for the project. And we are representing Charleston County School District for an addition to the James Island Elementary School campus. This project is for an early learning center that is going into this part of the Charleston County community, and it's going to be part of the James Island Elementary School. The addition is on the east side of the existing, I think it looks... Oh, you do? Oh, awesome.
Yeah, the red button. This is not page B. This is
Oh. No, this should be the sixth. That should be the sixth.
Because yours has the red.
I did. Oh, this is this the actual? Okay. And so it's this one right here.
Yes.
Thank you.
No, that's the one you got it now. This is.
Sorry about that. It might take it a minute to load because it is a pretty large file. They're pretty similar. There we go. Okay. All right. I'll jump right back in. So this is an expansion to the existing elementary school. To me, that looks like an X-Wing fighter for anybody that goes back to the Star Wars days. But the expansion of the school is over here to the east side, over in this location. In addition to the school expansion, classroom expansion, there's also what you'll see here, which is an extension of the drop-off loop for the school. In addition to providing traffic circulation for the Early Learning Center, this school also has a fairly significant issue right now with stacking distance, is kind of the school terminology that we use. A lot of cars back up onto the public road when they're doing drop-off and pickup times. And that's because the entire campus currently is served by a single driveway that comes in at this location right here. That's for all bus traffic, service vehicles, and parents and staff, okay? So what this project is doing in addition to the Early Learning Center is it's expanding this drop-off by putting in a roundabout at this location so that allows for a lot more stacking. The current school has about 1,900 linear feet of stacking. We're adding 1,100 feet to that to make it almost 3,000 feet of stacking on site. In addition to that, we're adding a new driveway over at this location of the school so that the buses will have a separate entrance in and out of the school. Again, all of that to try to lessen the impact that it's having on the local roads, okay? So the Early Learning Center here, that traffic will come around this traffic circle, and then they have the ability to actually park here. This area is, because of the age of the students that will be in here, this is where parents will be able to pull in and park, load and unload. It'll be a little bit different than the rest of the normal operation of the elementary school. So in particular about the historic aspects of what our impacts are going to be, it's our understanding this property right back here, this wooded area is the property of concern, I would say. And you'll see what we're doing right here. I think it's important to note that all of this wooded area in here is remaining. So from that property line of the property of concern, we've got a buffer area there of about 250 feet that we won't be clearing, okay? So the nearest construction that we're doing to this area is part of this parking area out here, which is for staff. But we're maintaining a buffer here that, like I said, in this area will be about 250 feet. Down at this area, it'll be about 275 feet, and all of those trees are projected to stay. There will be then the circle, the loop around parking that'll drop off and then be able to exit back out. And then there is a stormwater management pond in this area that we have to put in. This area is an area of known flooding, a special protection area within the county stormwater requirements. So we are having to provide that new stormwater pond that sits down in this corner. So that's an overview of the site part. I'll let Laura go over the architecture.
Good afternoon. As Chris mentioned, my name is Laura Slagle with McMillan Passon Smith Architecture. And as he mentioned, we are adding on to an existing elementary school. So these photos right here are of the existing James Allen Elementary School. What you'll see is that this is a one-story, predominantly brick school with a gabled roof form. You see the green roofs there. And essentially, we're trying with our addition to really mirror and mimic the existing height, scale, mass, and character of the school. We want this addition to feel like it seamlessly fits in and extends the campus as we make the addition for it. You'll notice in that middle photo that the entrance, the main entrance to the school, is designated with these brick piers, an exposed truss, and a gabled roof form. That's something that as we created the new entrance at the Early Learning Center, we wanted to almost make a little sister version of this entrance. Most of the students will still loop around and come in the main school entrance. It's only the youngest students, the infants, 1, 2, maybe 3-year-olds, that will be that the parents will drop, they'll park and drop off and walk their students in, as you typically do with a younger child. So this is the existing school, and I'll show you the proposed design. We have some flat elevations, and then I'll skip ahead to a rendering that might be a little easier to read as well. But I think what you see here is that we're really trying to preserve that character. We have a one-story addition. We have the gabled roof forms at the entrance. The classroom portion of the building is going to be done with a parapet and a low-slope flat roof. That's a really efficient way for schools to build and hide some of their equipment on the roof. But in general, we're trying to preserve that character. You'll see that we have a mostly brick facade. We have punched windows that were taken directly in scale and size from the existing elementary school. Again, just an effort to have it blend in and feel like it's part of that campus. I'm going to go ahead and sometimes I think it's helpful to see these 3D images as well. This is just a simple bird's eye view, or you see the addition. Or how are you getting the? Is it the red one? Yeah. So this is the early learning addition. You can see that there's a simple hallway that connects back to the existing school. And what you notice is that we have the addition, we have the parking lot that Chris mentioned, and then we have a protected play area. We intentionally tried to locate that inward facing back to the existing school. It really serves two purposes. One, it keeps the students safer. There's a fenced area that's going to enclose this. So it does keep our students safer in a protected courtyard. It also provides a buffer to any of the surrounding communities. So we're really using the building as a buffer in that location. This is just another similar view to that courtyard area. You start to see that longer drop-off loop that Chris mentioned. Yeah, absolutely. It is. It's an internal connection. It does. Yeah, it's an internal corridor. Sure. Yeah, that's a great question. It's enclosed as a corridor. Yep. So here's a view looking at the front of this Early Learning Center addition. You see that entrance area that I mentioned. We're really trying to make it feel like it's part of the campus. You've got the brick piers and a covered portico moment where folks can come in. There's also a covered canopy where parents can walk those students in from the parking lot and have them enter safe from the rain. And then you come in, and that taller area really represents the administrative area when you first come into the building. There's a secure vestibule and a couple offices to support the Early Learning Center. And then beyond that, you see the actual classroom building portion of the plan. It's a very efficient plan. It's a double-loaded corridor with classrooms on either side. And then off of each classroom, you'll see that we have a smaller canopy This provides some covered outdoor play area. It's really important for these students to have kind of a transition zone from the indoor to the exterior play area. So it brings the scale of the building down a little bit more above their heads, and then they transition to that protected outdoor courtyard. You see the fence line in the front of this image right here. That's really keeping them separate and safe in the area. And I think, was that the last one? Yeah, that's the last slide. So, again, this plan was very much organized to feel like an extension of the school that's there. We were thankful that there really was a large wooded area, and we did not have to encroach very far into it to make this addition and make it feel like it was part of the campus. But happy to answer any questions you might have about the layout or the intention of this building.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Just had a question, and you may have already mentioned, so I apologize if it's redundant. But the layout of the drop-off, you mentioned that there's going to be, I guess, regular drop-off for the older kids, but then there's another place where I guess the little ones won't obviously be dropped off. But you could just explain to me a little bit more about the roundabout, exactly where the drop-off is versus, I guess, where it's being extended from. I guess the other part, let's see, right there. Yeah, that new part.
Sure. Do you keep going?
Yeah, you want me to?
Yeah, go ahead.
So the existing drop-off location for the school is right here. All the cars come in here,
okay,
and they loop around, and they drop off right here, okay? That will be maintained. So what will happen for all the drop-offs, all of that traffic now will go down, will loop around the circle, come back, and then drop off at the same location.
Gotcha, okay.
So there really is no change in the location. So those students would be dropped off there, and if they go to that part of the school, they would go through the school to the new wing.
Okay. And you said there's a different area where the buses, they'll have their own separate entrance.
Right. So yeah. So they currently, all the buses currently, what they do is they come around here and go around the back, and they drop off right here. So what will happen now is they'll be able to come immediately here. The drop-off location will still be the same for the buses, and for the parents for the elementary school.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, the only ones who will be using that immediate drop-off adjacent to the addition will be those youngest students where the parents park and walk them in.
Okay.
And likely staff, yes.
We have a question in the audience.
I don't know if we can do that.
As soon as we finish the.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Are there any other questions from the? Hold on just a second. From the
just-
commission members.
Yeah, just one. You told us about the school. What is the full the capacity would be when this construction is completed?
Oh, the numbers.
Do you remember that?
I don't remember the numbers off my head. I'd say we did type it.
Yeah, I know that we were anticipating an increase. I think a maximum of 200 students and 32 staff was the increase. And I apologize. We don't have the. We will make sure we have that when we actually submit. But we don't. I don't know what the current enrollment number is right now, and I don't know if I have that with me. But the increase is a maximum of, I think, of 200 students and 32 staff. And that's what a lot of that additional parking is for the staff, but then it's also for visitors and others that would come.
Yeah. I mean, just to add to that question, I understand the school, but my concerns was if you're increasing the population, it looked like it's going to be coming off Grimble Road, that's going to put more traffic on that road. I know it's not your concern, but I'm just kind of curious how all that's going to fit in if someone, probably the whole community, may have to change their schedule to support this new school in terms of what time do I leave home and that. I'm just kind of thinking ahead, and I know that's not a part of that, but I'm just doing a little forward thinking in my mind to see how all this is going to fit in.
Yes, sir. And just to let you know, so we have already done a traffic impact analysis. So it's a traffic study. They've gone out and done counts. They've then modeled the new enrollment numbers into that. Okay. And there are no, with the improvements that we're making, there are no negative changes to any of the intersections that were analyzed. Again, most of that's because of what we've done with increasing that stacking distance on site.
All right, thank you.
Chris, do you want to talk about the improvements right here?
Yeah, thank you. There's also a minor improvement that we're doing at the entrance drive. Right now, there are only basically a single inbound lane and a single outbound lane. We're adding in a dedicated right turn lane coming out of that driveway. So what will happen is all the parents that are going in the northwest direction around Grimble over to the light at the other end, they will have almost a free flowing. They'll still need to stop, but they'll be able to continue around. And what's happening currently is the left turn movement, unfortunately, because there's only one lane, if somebody's trying to make that left, it backs up for a very long time. Now those left turns won't be backing up any other traffic. So again, that's just some things that have been done. That was specific direction that the school district was looking to improve the traffic situation, even though we're adding students to make it better.
Yeah. And I would also add, having the dedicated entrance and exit for the buses in a separate location is going to be a really big impact on the circulation in that area too. So the district has really prioritized the site circulation at this campus in addition to the building, which is always a good thing for the community.
As a resident of this area, I'll agree that this is backed up all the time now.
It is.
Okay, so I'm thinking in my brain, the fact that you guys have this second year, that roundabout should make a big difference, just taking off some of that traffic for sure. So it's not just right on the Grimble Road.
Yeah.
And then that turn lane is going to make a big difference. That's what they did at the high school. They thought it was fucking made an unbelievable impact. So.
Yeah, thank y'all for addressing that. My daughter used to go to school there, and it was always it was a nightmare.
I have a few questions, and I'm glad that my colleagues here are very concerned about the traffic. I live right across the street from this, and I have a very big concern about that because the house is almost right in front of that entryway coming into the school. And I've noticed that there's a lot of almost accidents every day coming in and out of that. So I'm glad that you're looking at trying to reduce the traffic, but you're also adding in the community as well, because all of these students you're talking about, they don't live in the community. They're coming in. So you're really bringing in about 200 cars. You said about 200 students are going to be at that location, so each one are going to be coming in a car. They're not on the bus. So I know the community is very concerned about this. I hope that you all are going to take this plan to the community for them to hear your plans and for you to hear from them, because I know that they would have some concerns here. The proposed road that you're talking about is almost near the curb. There's two curbs, one coming from the Gresham Megan School and then one further around the Grimble Farm. Very concerned about that.
For safety, a curb being for safety.
Right, right.
I have a question here. Excuse me, are you on one?
Oh, okay, yes. So I'm not sure how far you're going to be coming with the roundabout by the gravesite there at Ebenezer. Not Ebenezer, it's Evergreen, I'm sorry. There were some graves that were found on the other side of the gravesite where there's a ditch closer to the school side. Have y'all had any kind of...
You're referring to the one down at this end? Or are you referring to the one up here? Southern. So yeah, that one is
so that one is farther. Okay.
Yeah,
So you won't be coming
pretty far,
that far down. Okay.
It's pretty far. Yes, ma'am. It's pretty far away from our work. Everything we're doing is north of the ditch, the large drainage ditch that comes down and feeds that pond. All of our work is up here, and that cemetery is down in this location.
Well, I hope you don't find any in the section that you're looking at right now. But my biggest thing really is the traffic that's coming into the community when we are not looking at a community school, supported with students in the area.
So I know this is an extensive study, so you're probably going to have this question already answered. Since everyone has to come in the direction on Grimble, okay, and the buses are coming in from another area, is there not any way that people can come in from that particular, I think, was that in front of Gresham Megan, what's the name of that? Is that Fort Johnson? In front of Gresham Megan, that could come the other way?
Grimble. No, it's Farley Road and Grimble is the only two.
When the buses are coming in, is there not any way for cars to also come in? So that would alleviate some.
In the same driveway?
Yeah, well, not necessarily the same driveway, but that would pull a lot of traffic off.
Yeah, there's really not enough room to get another driveway in. Generally, the school, SCDOT has a group of school operations within the DOT headquarters in Columbia. They review all of these plans, and they require that the parent drive and the bus drive be separate. So we can't mix the two. We don't want parent traffic in with bus traffic.
I was just thinking if there was, I mean, I know we're looking at architecture, but as a grandmom and I have grandkids that go here, I'm just questioning whether is there not any other way to get another entrance off of a different area to bring other traffic a different way.
And I think it's also interesting, well, I'm interested in knowing the total population of that school.
Sure.
So it's a county school, but it's also a district school, correct? It's an inclusion.
They're all county schools.
I mean, but it also with district lines would be right there as well for those kids, just like Jonesville Elementary has a district line. Wouldn't this also have district lines for the 4-year-olds? Like,
Did I see the principal here? Is that the, do we have?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Is that?
I have a question. I'm sorry, I might have missed this, but what is the area of concern on the north end where the parking is that you mentioned in your presentation?
Area of concern.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yep, that is it is the Gresham Megget School.
Okay.
That is and this is the very back part of that property. This is the very back part of that. So when I mentioned before, that we've got a roughly a 250-foot undisturbed buffer here, there's more than that actually on that and then the school sits right up above here, outside of that picture.
Okay, so you guys, it technically falls within the whatever the foot length is.
Yes, sir.
And that's why you're here.
Yes, sir. We're within 300 feet of that property.
Gotcha. And you've got that buffer, so there's really it doesn't seem like there's anything more to do with that existing buffer. Would you agree with that? Or, I mean, if you can't see it, or it looks like it's technically there, and that's why you guys have to be here. But is there really anything more you could even do to? I mean, that's the only thing. It seems like in these discussions we have, it's like a line of sight sort of consideration, but it doesn't even sound like there's a line of sight. Is that accurate?
That is correct.
Okay.
Well, I like to say that even though it may not be something that we're able to see with this building, and I'm so thankful that we have the historic preservation building in W. Gresham Megget High School, because if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't even have any input. Now, just to know that you're bringing this building there, and please, I don't have any problems with us having a kindergarten building. I want everybody to be able to learn. However, I know the traffic that's there, and it really is bad. Backing when I get ready to back out of the driveway or even coming through, I'm wondering, which way those cars are going to be going to let me be able to get out of my driveway.
Right.
So I am concerned about that. We have that problem now, and then you're talking about bringing in 200 more cars.
Okay. Well, I just kind of want to get off the traffic thing because it's really not under the purview of what we're supposed to be discussing here.
Yeah.
Thank you for all of your information. We appreciate that.
I've got one question.
I know we have another time to do that.
Not dealing with that. You mentioned that buffer, but isn't that the county's buffer? We own that. The county owns that property in between. Just
No.
kind of.
Well, the school
No?
district, the property line is back here.
That's what I thought. Okay.
So this is all school district property.
Mm-hmm.
Right here. Yes, sir.
So you do own the buffer. Okay.
They do, yes, they do. They actually own the property behind it, too.
Buffer too,
They
yes.
actually own both properties. The property of concern is also Charleston County School District property, as well as this property. That's right.
Okay, so any other questions? Oh, sorry, Emily? Oh, okay. All right, so we had this lady right here from the community that wanted to make a comment or ask a question.
Thank you. My name is Google Sanders.
Oh, excuse me, ma'am, would you please go to state your name and address, please?
My name is Leela Sanders, Prelo Sanders. My address is 1917 South Grimble Road. I live directly in front, across the street from the school, born and raised right there. And I have seen the area change for plus and negative. But right now, my concern is, again, basically about the traffic and the safety of the community as well. Because I remember one morning I was going to work, and as they were coming out of that, leaving the school, they did not stop. A lady nearly slammed into me. I had to hit brakes. It was like she was on, I don't know, total tunnel vision. She just pulled right out. So in that statement, we are going to have some type of patrol in the morning and in the afternoon, like a crossing guard. Although we don't have a lot of students walk to school because their parents pick them up and then the few on the bus. But we need some type of guard out there, policeman force like they have in some areas. Our street is no less traffic than Dorchester Road or those downtown or anything else. So we definitely need that. And you talk about adding that lane left coming out right there in front of Sally, the Carver community, and that will help. But my question is how long that extended lane is going to be added as they come from Folly Road on the south side, how far, so we can have traffic constantly flowing to go to the main side of Grimble passing my house. That left turn coming out of that school, like I said, it's very dangerous, very dangerous. And how would that help? Because, like I said, at that point, if they're coming out and they're making the left turn to stay on South Grimble side to go over to Grimble Extension, how is that going to help that turn if we don't have a traffic light there? I don't remember seeing a stop sign there, and if it is, it's probably in the bush where people don't pay attention to it, no type of flashing to warn them when they leave the school. Everybody's thinking about getting their kids, getting out of the traffic, and total tunnel vision, okay? So that roundabout looked like it's going to help. It's going to help, but it's not going to alleviate a lot of traffic. It's still going to be there. Coming from the Grimble side, passing Meg School, and leaving and coming in on the South Grimble side. I sit on my porch and I watch that. I see that. It's a lot of traffic. People coming in from different part of James Island to use that school. Now, the bus area coming in from Grimble side, on that side, is it going to be a two-lane? Is it a two-lane, one coming in and one exiting out?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, that's good. The next thing is how many buses come in that area to drop off and pick up students? Because that's not a lot of footage on that coming in from Grimble Road, turning in there, and pulling up to where the cafeteria dropping off and then circle. You don't have a whole lot of room to pull up and circle around to exit back out. So my thing is how many buses dropping off, because you'll have traffic stopping on that side, piling up,
Yeah,
and then you still have
I didn't
people.
bring with me the number of buses today, but I can tell you that they all fit within They will not. They do not back up onto Grimble.
Okay, because you're going to have a lot of people coming from Johns Island, or whatever area they're coming from, bringing their students in that comes through that part of Grimble Road that bring in a lot of traffic, and you don't want those buses sitting there blocking them and they swerving out, having a head-on collision.
Ma'am, thank you very much. We had a 2-minute limit on the timer.
2 minutes? Well, I got my turn. I got Leroy turn too. So,
Do we have another
Okay,
speaker?
let me wrap it up. Okay, I just want to say this last thing.
Okay.
That new little building that you're adding on, what's the use of that little building again?
It's primarily classrooms.
Huh?
Classrooms.
Classroom for, okay.
That is the Early Learning Center addition. So there are
okay,
classrooms.
okay.
There's a few offices and classrooms.
Okay, well, okay, I'll let it go. I'll catch the other question at the next meeting. Okay, but make sure we work on that now and having some type of patrol there to control that traffic where people just don't forget on medication and they just burst right out and smack into you. No, I'm serious. I'm a coach operator, so I'm out there 40 hours a week. Matter of fact, you can say 60-sometime hours a week. And I've been doing this for a long time. And so I see how people drive. They don't mean to. They forget. They're in a rush. The children are talking to them. And it can be very dangerous, very dangerous. Even as a SLED police officer, I was that too. So I know what goes on out there, you know. And I don't want to be in my 70s and end up in an accident because your bones don't heal. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate your comments. Are there any other community members? Yes, ma'am. Thanks. And please state your name and address. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Jasmine Shaw. I represent Charleston County School District at 3999 Bridgeview, right here in North Charleston. So I'm over our capital department, which means I build brand new schools for the district. So there are some questions that was asked today that I think would help support some of your questions. We have had about, I want to say, 2 community meetings regarding this school, and we are certainly open to meeting with anyone, individual, to answer any questions that they may have outside of this forum. We have about 574 students that attend the school as of our 2024-2025 report that was issued. The building capacity for the existing building is 660. They're utilizing about 80, a little over 80% of the building right now. For the new addition, it is 200. However, of the 200, 2 classrooms, which is about 40 students inside the existing building, will be coming over to the addition itself. So that wouldn't really be adding to the capacity. We currently, right now, within James Island, have about 40 students on a waiting list that meet the age range for this particular school. So that's the other part of it that will help with the occupant load. The rest of that, with Universal 4K and the 4-year-olds increasing over time and it becoming eventually a standard within South Carolina, we want to be able to prepare for that in the near future. And I can't say when, but we are preparing for that to happen within the next couple of years. So by the time this building is built, we will have resources available for the community to use. Oh, the other biggest part was discussion about traffic. We have a different bell schedule. So the existing school starts at about 7 a.m. The early learning edition starts about 30 minutes later, I think 30 or 45 minutes. So with that stagger in the bell schedule, that will also help with the traffic on the road as well, because everyone's not arriving at the same time. That's all I had.
Oh, great. Thank you very much.
Can I say something?
Yes, Ms. Johnson, wanted to ask you a question, if that's okay.
Ms. Shaw, right? Yes. Okay. I certainly would like to know how to get in touch with you later.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for letting us know that you do have staggered times.
Yes, ma'am.
Planned, because that's one of the things too I had concerns about, to find out if that was going to happen. However, you shocked me when you talk about the capacity is 660 students, and you're going to add on to that 200, making it 860 students coming to that
Right,
that
so
area.
The new addition, yes, ma'am, sorry. The new edition handles a six-month-old up to 4K. So there's two different academic learning styles, I'll say, compared to the existing building itself. So we wouldn't be serving the same type of student. They would be starting at one location with the addition, and then if they decide they want to continue at this location, they can go over to the new school and start at kindergarten up to 5th grade.
Well, I wasn't concerned about the
Oh, I'm
learning
sorry.
style. I was just thinking of how many cars are going to be bringing those kids because they're not going to be walking. That was my concern.
Oh,
like
okay.
200, one in each car.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Well, it won't
And-
be 200. It'll be the 2 classes are already there. That's going to be coming over to the new facility. So we're looking
Oh,
at
2
about
classes.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
missed that.
We're looking at about 140 over a period of time. Not all, showing up at one time, but with the staggered bell schedule, we're hoping that'll help a lot.
But you do have the capacity of 200, right?
Yes, for the new edition.
And
total
640 for the other.
capacity.
Ms.
Mhm.
Johnson.
Okay,
That's
thank
not
you.
really what we're here to talk about. though.
Oh, I just wanted to make sure I understood what she said.
I understand.
Yes,
I don't want to. I don't want to carry the wrong
I understand.
information out of here.
So
So thank
we
you.
need to give them feedback on specific architecture and not parking. Thank you.
Excuse my voice. I'm losing my voice. So.
Same. Same. Any other questions for her? No? Thanks.
I had a quick question. I'm not sure. Thank you, Ms. Shaw, for your presentation.
Yes,
And since we are here to talk about the architecture, and I think you may have already mentioned it, so whoever's free to answer this question. But I guess to make it consistent, because the current school is in the red brick with sort of the green, the new building will also look the same as well, with even the
archway.
The archway. Yeah.
The roofing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had some brick representatives out there helping us match the brick as closely as possible. And then we have an exact match, we're told, for the roof color. Obviously, there's fading over time, but we have been working really hard so that it does feel like a seamless transition between the existing and the new.
Okay.
And even some of the brick details. We have a row lock detail. We have some of the piers and the way that the truss is constructed. Those are all really pulled straight from the existing building to feel like it fits.
Okay.
Well, I'm very
Nice.
impressed with the brick too because the library, right next door, we have brick on that, and so the roofing and the brick really is complementary.
Thank you.
I think it looks nice.
Any other questions or comments?
I think that we can all agree that based on the buffering situation right behind the early childhood center between Gresham Megget, that there is not going to be any problem. And I think that's our biggest
buffering,
focus,
yes.
correct? We all have concerns, but I think it looks like you guys have done a great job with that. And I know that if anything is going to be built in these areas, they will have to come back in front of us again, correct? Yeah.
Of course, for
Okay.
a formal application. Yep.
Yeah. Well, unless you have anything else that you want to, or any other questions, I think.
No, thank you for the feedback and for the comments. We
Okay.
will take all of those.
Yes.
to-
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Great
Thank
presentation.
you for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Okay.
I gotta pick up.
This workshop now stands.
too. I understand.
The workshop is now adjourned.